The UK election is here and something astonishing is happening.
I've wondered, am I really doing this all again? Well, I am. I am. And I'm not downhearted. Are you downhearted?
For the first time in modern political history, we actually have a chance to send shockwaves through the political establishment. What's astonishing is the sheer desperation by the establishment to smear Reform and Farage. Firstly, by celebrating a bunch of shitlibs throwing milkshakes at him. Don't care, still voting Reform. Then by hysterically clutching their pearls over Farage, saying he didn't want to prolong a war 2,000 miles away.
We've provoked this war. It's, of course it's his fault. He's used what
But we provoked the invasion of Ukraine.
I don't care, still voting Reform. Then by showcasing some left-wing group infiltrating a Farage event and throwing up an image of Putin. Putin bad, Farage bad. Get it? Don't care, still voting Reform. Then by saying Farage is literally Hitler because he appeared at campaign rallies which were well attended by his own supporters. Don't care, still voting Reform. Then by having an actor pose as a Reform canvasser, put on a fake voice and say some offensive things.
We've gone undercover inside Nigel Farage's Reform UK campaign in Clacton, and we recorded extremely offensive language.
Don't care, still voting Reform. Then by having the BBC stuff its own question time audience with people who work for the BBC to call Farage racist.
What is it about you and your party that attracts racists and extremists?
Don't care, still voting Reform. Then having some wishy-washy Reform candidates defect to the Tories. No doubt planned all along. A Reform candidate has suspended her campaign and defected to the Conservatives because the vast majority of her fellow candidates are racist, misogynistic and bigoted. Oh, I'm going to abandon all my beliefs, principles and allies because some naughty noises came out of an actor's mouth. Woman moment. Don't care, still voting Reform. What's astonishing is despite the onslaught of demonisation, dirty tricks and media hit pieces, support for Reform amongst young people is surging, and that's really what terrifies them the most. Second place among 16 to 17-year-olds and joint first place amongst males. 5 times the number of youth support for Reform compared to Conservatives. The opinion that migration is too high is now the majority view amongst 18 to 24-year-olds, realising they're not even growing up in the same country as their parents. Disaffected youth robbed of a future by mass migration and all it entails, mirroring their base counterparts in Europe and rising up as part of a generational revolt against the political class that's betrayed them.
Something remarkable is happening out there.
If there's hope, it lies in the Zoomers.
I've been dreaming of a time when the English are sick to death of Labour and Tories. Dreaming of a time when to be English is not to be painful, to be standing by the flag, not feeling shameful.
Maybe we should lower the voting age to 16 after all.
Reform UK!
What's astonishing is how rigged our electoral system is in favour of establishment parties. Reform could get around 15% plus of the national vote and still end up with only a handful of seats. They could get more votes than the Lib Dems and the Lib Dems would win way more seats than them and even become the official opposition to Labour. This guy is the official opposition.
So a woman can have a penis?
Well, quite clearly.
Don't care, they're no better or worse than the Tories, still voting Reform. Voting Reform risks losing hundreds of Tory MPs for a generation. You didn't need to convince me, still voting Reform.
I see my role especially as challenging the stereotype. It's up to people like me to go out and go, actually, this image of a Conservative that you've been spoon-fed is wrong. Look at me.
Definitely voting Reform. The establishment's sabotage of Farage and Reform is only paralleled in the US, where the Democrats are trying to lock up their presidential opponent, Donald Trump. A rigged political show trial and a felony conviction. Yeah, right, the only thing Trump's guilty of is not giving up. It's pretty clear that they're willing to go to any lengths to stop Trump winning. And whatever happens with the election result, it's likely there's going to be chaos in the aftermath. So what are you doing to be prepared for what's coming? Taking control of your health and well-being is something we can all do. You know I've been a huge proponent of NMN. Boom, right there. And I've been warning of attempts by the FDA to reclassify it as a drug. They're trying to take control of what you can put in your own body. So Black Forest came out with NMNH, which is just a molecule different and does all of the same stuff. This is an in-case scenario that the FDA bans NMN. NMN and NMNH help replace NAD+ levels in your body, which is anti-aging and helps moderate your weight. I've been taking this for a year now and I feel fantastic. Which is why I asked them to give you a special killer 4th of July sale for the next 48 hours. Buy one, get one free. It's the best deal they've ever offered, so do me a favour and go and stock up. We're at a critical juncture where our choices matter more than ever. It's not just about who we elect, but also about taking control of our health and well-being. NMN and NMNH are part of that fight, ensuring we stay strong, resilient and ready for whatever comes our way. Don't let the FDA and Big Pharma dictate your access to life-changing supplements. Take action now and secure your supply. And stand firm in your right to make decisions for your health. Take advantage of Black Forest Supplements July 4th buy one get one free special sale by clicking the link down below. What's astonishing is how Labour is being presented as a fundamental change from the Conservatives. More infinity mass migration, higher and higher taxes, an accelerated race towards net zero insanity, the anemic decline of the UK, feeling ashamed of our history, ashamed of our heritage, ashamed of who we are. Vote Labour if you want more of everything the Conservatives have been doing for the last 14 years and worse. Wow, so much change. Don't believe it, don't care, still voting Reform. What's astonishing is how the difference between these two clowns is being presented as anything other than a shuffling of middle management. What's astonishing is how the Tories are begging you to vote for them to prevent a Labour supermajority, to prevent Labour opening up our borders to mass migration. And the Tories have overseen an invasion of our borders by illegal boat migrants. When the Tories have overseen all-time record high legal immigration numbers that would make Tony Blair green with envy. 1 in 30 people currently in the UK arrived in the last 2 years alone under the Tories. Oh, but they'll stop Labour imposing precisely what they've been imposing over the last decade. Don't believe it and don't care, still voting Reform.
The Conservatives have betrayed that trust. They've opened up the borders to mass immigration like we've never seen before. And they deserve to pay a price for that.
This election is a referendum on the cancerous political establishment that's destroyed our country. If you want to see the continued managed decline of the UK, if you want to see infinity mass migration, spiralling taxes, net zero madness, wokeism on steroids, if you want a future where so many ethnic minority voters are being imported, voting will no longer even matter, vote for Labour or vote for the Tories. I don't want to be a part of that. I want to be part of a new movement that will eventually put a stop to all that. There's no real political opposition in this country. None of these mainstream parties represent our interests. And every time we say, oh, go on then, have another go, I trust you this time, they turn round and stab us in the back. And I know it's a massive cliche, but it's truer than ever. They're all the fucking same. That's why to create a real opposition, we have to tear down the rotting husk that is the Tory party.
What Thursday is about is the first step. It's the first major step that we take in an independent United Kingdom to turn this around. Britain is broken. Britain needs reform. We will become the voice of opposition. My intention is we build, over the course of the next few years, a mass movement, the likes of which has never been seen in the modern history of this country. A mass movement for real change. A mass movement that reflects the views of ordinary people of this country.
But Labour supermajority, but racism, but Farage Hitler, but offensive comments, but Putin bad, but. Don't care, still voting Reform. If you value what I do and you want to help support me, please visit pauljosephwatson.locals.com and either pledge a one-time donation or subscribe to join my community, get early access videos, and message me directly. And exclusive live streams coming soon too. Promise. Check out the Locals link down in the description. And don't forget to take a look at the brand new website modernity.news. That's where you'll find all my content, including exclusive articles. That's modernity.news.